We're live with another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us. Those of you who are with us live, those who are watching it later. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters, and I'm joined by the usual suspect. Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself.
Yo, this is Kenoshi Abominito, and I think I might have discovered my new fighting game series, or at least fighting game for the moment. I've been playing a lot of King of Fighter, yeah, King of Fighter 15. Uh, got that on the got got that on the Steam sale.
All right. Whatever.
Did you ever get in the King of Fighter at all, or?
Uh, Back in the day, like that King of Fighters SNK, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be into King of Fighters back in the day. I'm not so much now since it was bought by the Saudi Arabian prince. Just can't really support that guy because he, you know, killed someone. But man, look, whatever makes you happy. Um, you know, like if you're enjoying, like I'm not one of those people who get mad at someone who enjoys something. If you're enjoying it, enjoy it. Um, so I do like King of Fighters. I from way back in the day when it was called the Art of Fighting. Uh, like I liked it back then. It's a little bit different now, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
But yeah, what have I been playing? What have I been playing? Shit. I've just been playing a lot of. I've been getting into Persona 5. Um, Except I feel like I should call it Persona 5 point 5.4 because I've been playing it with the Persona 4 characters, costumes on the characters. So whenever I beat bosses, it plays the Persona 4 theme song. So it feels like I'm just playing like a weird version of Persona 4.
Oh.
But I
Yeah.
like Persona 4. Persona 4 I think is a little bit tighter of a game than Persona 5.
Yeah.
Persona 5 is like meandering and there's some problems with it, like thus far. I mean, this may be something different in the future, but like it's not cool how once you conquer a mind palace, you can't go back. I'm like, wait, what? So I can't like grind for demons? That's just I don't like that.
Like you can't do that in Persona 5.
Not thus far. Now, to be fair, I just started this game, so you know, it could be a little bit different. I'm just telling you that's the way that's how I feel about it. I'm like I'm not cool with because when I play RPGs, I like to be able to, I like to be able to go back to areas and find stuff I couldn't find and get stuff, and I can't do that when they're killing me out. Like they're like, oh, you can't come back. I'm like, come on, man,
Yeah.
because I'm playing it with a trainer, so it's a little bit different for me than other people, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff this year on the Steam sale. I got let's see. I might check out explore around Death Stranding and see what that's about because it was free on the Epic Game Store.
Yeah, I got
Um,
mine from the Epic Game Store too. I was like, yeah, I'll get this game. Why the hell not?
the-
Now
and
that
then
it's free.
yeah, free 99. I mean,
Yeah, and I got it when it was the director's cut. They're like,
yeah.
yeah, we didn't mean to do that. I'm like, too bad, motherfucker. I got it. You can't take it back now. Fuck you. I'm sorry. This is what happens. See, everyone's always like, oh man, Steam, Epic. Steam wouldn't have done some stupid shit like that. They would have just was like, yeah, we meant to do that. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. But yeah, and I also got I got Cyberpunk on the Epic Game Store because it's cheaper because of the coupon.
Oh,
I
really?
got instead, yeah, because
So what
they
was
used to
it?
have
29.
it's $30, but with the coupon it's like 25 dollars. So
That's not
yeah,
bad.
uh, I also got Grand Blue Fantasy, which is an Arc System fighting game, and
RPG hybrid thing.
yeah, yeah, uh, so I ended up getting a lot of games this year. See if I play them all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Whenever there's a Steam sale, Steam is like going to Vegas or going to spring break and just sleeping with a lot of people and just waking up and being like, I can't believe I slept with you. But you can't get mad because it was like, it's from what I remember, I had a good time.
Yeah. I guess you could put it that way.
It's like, yeah,
But yeah, um, the sales were good this year, in my opinion, compared to the last few years. I just think I, I, I don't know. They just seem better. So they just seem better this year. Maybe it's because a lot of the stuff that I wanted was,
on sale.
at a price. Yeah, at a price that was acceptable.
Yeah. I started to get some stuff from Epic, but it was like the games that Epic had just weren't really doing anything for me.
Yeah,
Um, the free 99 stuff was cool, but I'm like, I don't really care about most of this shit. Uh,
yeah,
and I know some people are gonna be like, but it's Epic. Aren't you against the anti-consumer bullshit stuff that they did with Steam? I'm like, yeah, but Steam has a much better selection of games. Like, there's always something on Steam that I want or have wish listed. Whereas there's shit on Epic where I'm like, I would never buy that, and I don't know why you suggested it to me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm like, why would you sell this to me? I am not impressed with this. Why would you even send this to me? But that's just my own personal opinion. Yeah, I got some stuff this holiday season. On the sale. Mostly, I got Star Ocean, the newest Star Ocean game. It wasn't on sale. I just got it.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I get? I got High on Life. Been having fun with that. Um, yeah, and Persona 5 Royal. See, the stuff I'm really looking forward to doesn't come out till February. Like Yakuza Ishin, which is the Yakuza game that is set in feudal Japan, where the same character who plays Kazuma Kiryu is just he's a samurai now with a top knot, and he uses samurai swords to slice the shit out of people
Oh, that should be
and
that
a
should be
gun.
interesting.
He goes gun sword. I'm like, come on, man, gun swords? Oh, you had me. Cause and I don't mean that bullshit gun sword from Final Fantasy VIII. I mean like he dual wields a gun and a sword,
Yeah.
which is badass as fuck. But anyway, yeah, yeah. This has been like, and Persona 5 is such a dense RPG that it just like on my days off, I'm just like it's a 160-hour RPG, and I've been playing the shit out of it.
Yeah.
So, and I've only done like 10 hours at this point because I use a trainer to max out my social stats, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's get to these stories. So we got some news stories for you guys, some rumors. And because we got rumors, we got to play the rumors theme.
How do rumors get started?
How do rumors get started? So we've got some rumors. So basically, the first rumor is the Switch Pro rumor. So apparently, this is a rumor. Okay. Nintendo was going to make a mid-generation Switch, but then cooler heads prevailed and realized this is fucking stupid. Why would we spend money on a mid-gen upgrade?
Yeah.
Like that's dumb. Uh, your thoughts? Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, it's not like Nintendo to do something like that. Maybe the closest thing they've done to that was closest things they've done to that are probably the Game Boy Color, uh, the expansion pack, the new 3DS.
But the new, I mean, those are all handhelds. And the Game Boy Color, there were games on the GBA that were legitimately better than that could only be run on the GBA.
And yeah, those are the only three examples I can think of where they did something like that.
Like there were there were games on the 3DS that like the new 3DS only the new 3DS personally I just think that they had run out of those old ass chips that made it slower because it was running a little bit faster and they just had a way to upcharge it and they added a joystick to it. I don't think that was like the best thing in the world. I wasn't enthralled with it, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah, you're right.
I just don't see them doing that. I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "Oh, but insert reason here." But I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. No one's gonna do that shit. But I
Yeah.
could be wrong. You know, what do I know? I'm just some guy. I'm just some guy. You have any thoughts on it? You know,
I mean, the it just at this point the Switch is what 6 years old. I think at this point, if you're gonna come out with a mid range console, you might as well just come out with a new console now.
yeah. Like, I told people that I'm like, I don't see the point of Nintendo coming out with a new console at this point because it's just not worth. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, why would they spend that money when they could spend that money on better hardware, on a new console entirely, rather than upgrading what they have now?
Yeah.
You know, like I still don't understand that argument that people are like, well, they're gonna make a new Switch. Why? They have no incentive to do that.
Yeah.
Like zero incentive. Like none. Like
Yeah.
literally no incentive to do that. And when I hear people say that, they're like, yeah, they're going to make a Switch Pro. Why?
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, just on a personal level, I'd rather Nintendo spend money on new hardware on the next system and make it so that the hardware is actually higher quality. Because
Yeah.
clearly, at this point, withered technology is not working for them.
Yeah. Uh, a lot of it is just because people. A lot of it's just people don't want to optimize for it, and maybe it's just or maybe it's just simply not working.
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Personally, and this is just my own little supposition, take it with a grain of salt. I think that the reason a lot of the games are struggling on the Switch is because developers aren't really optimizing those. They're not building the games for the Switch. They're porting the games to the Switch. And
Yeah.
if all you're going to do is just port the game over to the Switch, you have no incentive to, why should they care if they're just going to port it over?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I see people, they're like, well, it's. I mean, they have no incentive to do any of that shit. So if they don't have an incentive to do it, what's the point?
Yeah.
Um, but and this is like for third parties. But then you look at games that are like first party, second party games, and they're running poorly. I'm like, well, clearly this system is just is not up to snuff.
Yeah.
It just can't. It can't handle it. The hardware can't handle it. It's like, why are we? And when you mention that to people, people get angry. They're like, well, how could you say that? It's like, yeah, but there's first party games that are not running well on the system. So clearly, this isn't just a third parties are lazy thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Breath of the
yeah.
Wild ran terribly. Kirby's the first 3D Kirby game. Think how awesome that game would have been.
Yeah.
Think how awesome Kirby would have been if it had actually been built. It had been on hardware where they didn't have to do shit where, yeah, in your immediate area you've got decent performance, but once your character goes to fucking like you look in the distance, characters are just fucking going down to the single digits of frames in the background. So characters who are moving around look like stick figures being animated by someone who doesn't understand animation. And they're not doing that
Yeah.
because it's a stylistic choice. They're doing it because the system, there's only so many system resources they can actually fucking utilize at any given point in the game. It's,
Yeah.
like, and you mention this to people, they're like, well, don't say that. It's like, so I should just ignore what I see in front of my face because I like a company.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you insane?
Yeah. Yeah. People are so when it comes to their favorite company, people are like, well, uh, you can't say that. You just don't understand. It's they're out to get Nintendo.
It's like, I mean, I like I said, do I think there are certain companies that have an agenda about Nintendo? Yes. Do I think that that's the only reason? No. I think there's some
Yeah.
games. I think that Nintendo is a used to be a great video game company. They're okay these days because the new president is trash. Um, yeah, I said it. And I think that that's just the way it is. It's
Yeah.
I think that they're doing the best they can, but it's not gonna be a great. It's not gonna be a perfect situation. You know, Uh,
Yeah.
you know. I think Furukawa, the new president of Nintendo, is a businessman first, and not really a technical person first, and it shows. Because there's some decisions that he made. I'm like, clearly that's a money decision, but not, that's not for the good of the company. That's because he just wants to make more money. Not that there's anything wrong with making money. Okay, if you own a business, you exist to make money. It's not because you want to be good friends with people and all that bullshit. But that's my own personal opinion. You have any thoughts?
The Switch came out because Nintendo kind of panicked with the Wii U. It wasn't doing as well as they wanted it to. Um, so I mean, probably probably the reasons it's hardware wise is at the state that it's actually in. So maybe with the next console we'll see what you know what this new president can really do or what he's really about. But you know, obviously there is a lot of weird decisions pertaining to its online the online aspect of it. It's definitely not as good as it was in the Wii U. The Wii
Well,
U is free.
I mean, the online technically is better, but like, the problem is that while it is technically better, they're charging you what you're getting for what they're charging you for is not commensurate with the thing. Like, I would prefer a la carte versus what they're basically charging people for. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, I'd rather just be like, you just buy whatever game you want to play. I'd rather do that than have someone come up to me and tell me that I have to buy, I have to use whatever bullshit system they have. And yes, I'm calling the system they have right now bullshit. Yes. The system Nintendo has right now, their online system is bullshit. I said it. I don't
yeah,
care if you don't like it. Tired of people making excuses for their online. Um, Speaking of their online and them launching their new, there's a rumor that they're launching their new console. They're going to launch their new console this year, or announce it this year. And I mean, and doing that, they're going to do the same thing they did with Breath of the Wild, where it's going to be a dual release on the Switch and then on their new home console. Because it worked so well the last time.
yeah, that's a possibility.
My only thoughts about this is, if this is the case, I hope that it runs better, because Breath of the Wild on the Switch ran like ass,
Yeah,
like hot buttered ass. Um,
yeah, and you know, it's about time. It's that 6 year lifespan. The fact that you know, Tears of the Kingdom could be the last game of the the big last game Nintendo releases, it doesn't entirely surprise me. We're at the 6 year 6 year mark for the Switch, or we will be at the 6 year mark in March.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they basically did the same thing. Like I said, they did the same thing with the Wii U, where the big last game for the Wii U was Breath of the Wild. So it kind of makes sense that the big last game for the Switch would be um, the next Legend of Zelda game. Because they would launch their new hardware with a big Legend of Zelda game. Although personally, I don't really like Breath of the Wild. I think it's kind of ass, but a lot of people really like that game, so don't say that out loud because they get mad. Oh, you don't like Breath of the Wild? Nope. Thought it was trash. But a lot of people like it, so, enjoy. But, yeah, Breath of the Wild is a interesting game, but it's not a very good Legend of Zelda game, in my opinion. It's like, oh, this is a nice experiment. Don't do that shit again.
Yeah.
Which is how I feel about Breath of the Wild. I'm like, it's fine, but I'm not like, oh my god. Like, I'm not going to put it as the best Legend of Zelda game I've ever played. I wouldn't even put it in my top 10, to be honest with you. So, and I'm not really all that excited about the sequel either, to be honest with you. I know some people are like, it's going to be great. I'm like, I mean, if it's just going to be more Breath of the Wild, I'm not excited. Because I didn't like the last game, so why would I want to play it again? It's asinine. What's wrong with it? But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I thought the game was pretty decent, but I definitely know I definitely came across various Zelda fans that weren't too impressed by Breath of the Wild. So
yeah, Breath of the Wild
because they
feels like a
changed so
demo.
much.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I was gonna say, they changed a lot about it, so it's just like, if but yeah, I wouldn't say it feels like I wouldn't say it feels like a demo.
I mean, to me, it feels like a demo. It feels like Nintendo had some ideas that they wanted to test out, and they were just like, we're going to test these ideas out. And they were like, yeah, we're going to test these ideas, but we don't necessarily care. Like there's so many aspects of that game that feel incomplete as a Zelda gamer. Like the severe lack of dungeons, the lackluster boss fights. That final boss fight in the game was a fucking joke. The reused assets over and over again. It felt like they had a demo and they ran out of time and they were like, shit, we got to produce something. And they were like, okay, we'll polish up your demo as much as you can and we'll make that into a game. And sometimes it works in Nintendo's favor. Like you get something like a F-Zero or Pilot Wings, where those were essentially demos, but they turned out to be pretty good little games. I don't feel that way about Breath of the Wild. I'm like, where are the dungeons? Where are the Like there's so much shit missing in this game. You know, and when you mention this to fans of Breath of the Wild, they're like, "Oh, well, you just don't like new shit." No, I like new shit, but don't change the recipe on my favorite dish. All right?
Yeah.
You experiment with your own shit, okay? You make something new, you experiment with that. Don't be fucking doing weird shit on something I want to eat, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because Breath of the Wild feels more like an open world survival game than an actual Legend of Zelda game. Which, if they wanted to do an open world survival game, cool, but I don't want to play an open world survival game in a Legend of Zelda setting.
Yeah.
You know, so people are going to get mad when they hear that. Oh, how could you? It's like, sorry, that's just how I feel. But, yeah. And Breath of the Wild 2, I don't have much hope for either, so I don't want people being like, oh, you just don't. No, no. I like a lot of shit. I just don't really. I'm not really enthralled with Breath of the Wild. The bugs I experienced playing that game where it crashed on me and I had to restart from my previous save, or it would lock my system and I had to start it, start and stop it, start and stop the system. Was not didn't really endear me to the game either. So
Yeah.
maybe if I hadn't had those bugs, I would just say it's all right. But the bugs just kind of, you know, the bugs just kind of made it worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't have. I don't remember it. I think it might have crashed on me once, but I don't think it crashed on. I didn't have nearly as many problems as some other people, but then again,
I
usually
brought
I've
mine at lunch.
yeah, I didn't get mine until a couple months. But yeah, that's unacceptable for a first party game at launch
Yeah, yeah. If it
to
was third
crash on
party,
you.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh well, I don't give a shit. It's third party, but it's like Nintendo first party is crashing, and I don't want to hear that excuse. Well, what's his name? Monolith Soft helped work on it. Bullshit. Because I didn't have, even though Xenoblade Chronicles 2 didn't run great, it still ran better than Breath of the Wild. And there was more shit going on in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 than Breath of the Wild, so I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so the Switch essentially is fundamentally, to me, the hardware was old when it came out. Like, it was based off of shit that came out in like 2010, 2011, 2012. So it was already kind of fucking long in the tooth when it came out. And so for the next console, I hope they can come out with something better. Like, I would love for there
Yeah.
to be some. I hope that the next console. And here's the thing, I don't need great performance. I just want 720p, 60 frames per second. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too much to ask. If they're going to continue with the Switch concept, 720p, 60 frames per second, handheld, 1080p, 60 frames per second, docked. That's it. I don't think that's too much to ask, do you?
Uh, no, I don't think it's too much to ask, but for many people, yeah, I mean, they're not getting their 4K 60.
Man, I don't give a fuck about 4K 60. Fuck 4K 60. 4K 60 is bullshit.
Yeah.
Only reason people give a fuck about 4K 60 is because they want is because it's fucking console peasants who desperately want what PC gamers have, but they don't want to put the money for it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, seriously, you think if you spend $550 on a console plus tax, that because you spent $550 that entitles you to 4K 60? Get the fuck out of here. I mean, for real. I mean, that is just the balls on some of these console gamers. It's like, yeah, I spent
Yeah.
550 because you couldn't buy, even if you bought a gaming laptop, you couldn't get the type of performance they want for fucking $550.
Yeah.
So why the hell do they think, oh, well, I can just spend X amount? It's like, no. Do you not know how pricing works? Apparently you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man, I want 1080p, 60 frames per second. I want 4K. I want 8K. First of all, no one is putting that type of money in a console game. There's no reason for anyone to do that. What is wrong with you? Also,
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, going back to the laptop, you're paying the gaming laptops. You're paying at least $1,000 to get maybe good 14, halfway decent 1440p settings.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the audacity of some of these console people. Yeah, I want 4K, 8K. Bitch, you can't even. First of all, you need a 4K or 8K TV in order to enjoy that. And ain't nobody is gonna get a 4K or 8K. I don't even think they sell 8K TVs. Like, I think you got a special mark. I think that you have to special buy. Those are special. Those are specialized purchases. You have to like special order that shit. And who the fuck is gonna? I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
But it's bullshit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear that. Like, oh, don't you want 4K? Not really. Not because I also can't enjoy 4K because, um, like my eyes can't really see that. But whatever.
It's just too much money. It's too much money. And it's too much resources for the majority of people.
But hey, 4K, yay. I'm being facetious when I say that. I really don't care. I don't care about 4K, 8K, 12K. I don't care because I have other shit to do with my time than worry about the resolution. Because I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't really care about resolution. I care more about solid frame rate.
Yeah.
Like I would personally rather have I would rather have lower frame rates with higher fidelity.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have I'd rather have solid 1080p or 1960 and 60 frames per second, or whatever the refresh rate of your monitor is.
Yeah.
Like this bullshit where people are like, I want 4K, 2K. Who cares? I don't know about you. My hard drive, my solid state hard drive cannot take 2K, 4K, 8K gaming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It can't handle. It can't handle. It can't handle. It can't handle the hard drive side. And here's the thing: I have 4 terabyte drives. I have two 4 terabyte drives, SD drives, solid state drives in my computer right now.
Yeah.
And those are my solid state drives. I have my main drive is another solid state drive that's 4K. I mean that's 4 terabytes, and it's okay. You know, it's my C drive is 4 terabytes as well. And my 2 gaming drives are almost, well, they're not full, but they're like, both of them are around 50%, 55% full. And it's not like I have everything installed on my hard drives from Steam and Epic and all, and GOG and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't, at this point, I just don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I do know is this cannot go, this can't go any further.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, enough about the Switch. It's time to talk, well, enough about Legend of Zelda. I guess we got to talk about the other big elephant in the room, which is there's probably not going to be a Metroid Prime 4 this year. To no one's surprise.
Nope. I'm not surprised.
Because I don't think the Switch can handle Metroid Prime, like a Metroid Prime 2. I don't think it can. I don't think it can handle that. Because you would have to make a Metroid Prime that's more impressive than Metroid Prime 3. Metroid Prime 1, you were stuck on one planet with different environments. Metroid Prime 2, you had 2 planets. Metroid Prime 3, you were going to like 3, 4, 5 planets. And like space stations and shit like that. So for 4, you would have to up that by a lot, by even more. Like you'd have to go through a whole solar system or some shit like that. So you're looking at 8, 9 planets, plus asteroids and space stations and shit like that. And the Switch can barely run Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yeah. So I just don't see that being a thing that they could run on the Switch. Well, because it just doesn't have the power.
Yeah.
I just can't do it, Captain. I'm giving her all she's got. She's gonna blow. Like Scotty's inside of your Switch saying, I'm giving her all she's got. If we push any harder, she's gonna blow.
Yeah.
Need more donuts. The dilithium crystals are gonna melt, Captain. The dilithium crystals, Captain. They're melting. Yeah, so I just don't see Metroid Prime coming out. Now, does that mean that what they might do? Here's what I think they might do this year. Nintendo might do this year. I think they might come out with a Metroid Prime trilogy on one cartridge. Because those games reuse a lot of the same assets with like palette swaps and shit like that. Which is fine for the 7th gen. Not great now.
Yeah.
You know. The 6th, 7th gen, fine. Because you're looking at the Wii and the GameCube, where they had a limited amount of space. Now, space on a Blu-ray or a cartridge is not at a premium, so it's at this point it's just people being cheap and lazy. Um,
Yeah.
but that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. You have any thoughts on it? Metroid Prime 4? Are you looking for it? Are you not looking for it?
It might be a dual release game.
What come out at the end of the year?
Yeah, it
Metroid
might
Prime
come out
4
when the
and
new system comes out with alongside the Switch, possibly.
yeah, I could see that. They're like it's digital
Yeah.
only. I'd be cool with
Yeah.
that. Any other thoughts?
Um, yeah, they'll probably use it to hype up
Dave
the
from
console,
Ireland.
like they did with Breath of the Wild, with Switch and the Wii U having a dual release. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people. I mean, I know the thing that got me off to get the Switch was Metroid Prime 4. So I'm kind of pissed that we never got that. I'm like, you motherfuckers, you.
mm,
Because a lot of the big games that came to the Switch also came to PC. So I was like, I don't really. Like, I'll probably get. I'm gonna get Octopath Traveler 2, but I'm gonna wait till it comes on PC. I'm not gonna get it on the Switch.
Octopath, yeah,
That comes out this year.
yeah.
So I'll get that on PC when it comes to PC. I'm not going to get it on the Switch because I really like Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
But you have any thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is let's see. Oh yeah, the big one. The FTC basically created a new topic. The FTC is the Free Trade Commission. Created an entirely new topic. I mean, an entirely new category for fucking an entire new category for high performance consoles in order to ignore the elephant in the room, the Nintendo Switch, which has basically been kicking Sony's and Microsoft's asses for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, it did come out a year ahead, few years ahead of the other consoles, but so
I'd say 18 months. A year and a half.
Yeah.
It came out a year and a half ahead of the of Sony and Microsoft. But still, like go ahead, Kenoshi. I'll let you go first and then I'll
it came out earlier. The Wii U came out before the other consoles. And then the Wii U didn't do much. The Switch just had a wider appeal. Because even when the new consoles came out, they destroyed the Wii U sales within at least the first few months.
Yeah,
And,
but no, go ahead. Sorry.
But I guess the other caveat, or caveat's not the right word, but the other reality is that there wasn't the pandemic, and there wasn't you didn't have the lack of stock. But even when the consoles did get, even when there was more in stock, the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, they were still
Lagging behind.
Switch, yeah, they're still lagging behind. So,
Well, I think what makes the Switch a success where the Wii U wasn't, even though they both launched similarly before the others, is that the Switch had a ready-made library. A lot of those games, I'd say 60 65 to 70% of those games in that ready-made library were fucking games from the previous generation, that people didn't get because they didn't want to be seen with a Wii U. You know, people. I'll get Mario Kart 8. Well, you could have gotten it cheaper on the Wii U. Fuck you! I'm not getting it for the Wii U. Yeah, that's basically what we got. What we saw with the Switch. I'll get Mario. I'll get Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario 3D World. But you could have gotten it on the Wii U. I wasn't getting a Wii U. It's like, but there were good games for the system. So, I mean, a lot of re-releases of old shit. Nintendo had a ready-made library that all they had to do was just port shit over to the Switch, and it was gonna sell because you were going to an entirely new audience, and they needed shit to play on their systems. A system that functionally, for a lot of people, and I'm sure Nintendo has done marketing research, that most people are using the Switch as a handheld. So, for Nintendo, the Switch is basically the successor to the 3DS. And let's keep it real. There isn't a single Nintendo handheld that has ever not dominated whatever it was in.
Yeah.
Hasn't been done. Nintendo has never, no one has ever outcompeted Nintendo in the handheld market.
Oh.
Has not happened. You could say, well, the 3DS struggled at first. Yeah, the 3DS still wound up selling like 85, 86, 87, like 88, like over 85 million units. And that's just the physical hardware. We're not talking about all the fucking software they sold for the 3DS and the DS and the GBA and the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy. That's like, Nintendo will always do well with a handheld. And the Switch is basically a handheld.
Yeah.
So essentially, the Switch came out early, had a huge library, and proceeded to beat the shit out of everybody. And even though I said Nintendo isn't competing directly with Microsoft and Sony, and mostly they aren't, for Joe Blow consumer who has X amount of dollars in their budget, they are competing with each other. Because if you are going to, Christmas shopping, the Christmas season just passed, and you're basically a parent, and you're like, okay, I want to buy something for my kids, okay, to game with. You got three choices: a Switch, an Xbox, or a PlayStation. Those are your choices. I have a second cousin. He's a little kid. He's like 7 or 8 years old, and he's a fun little kid. His parents got him an Xbox for Christmas. Okay?
Yeah.
So, like, they had to make that choice. Like, do you want a Switch? Am I gonna buy a Switch? 3DS. And I think he might already have a Switch. You get what I'm saying? Like, these companies are competing for your money. They might not be competing directly with each other, but they are competing for your money.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like, Microsoft and Sony are multimedia companies and have a lot more resources than, say, Nintendo does. And a lot of the technology that they developed or parts of that stuff are put in their consoles. They're still competing in the video game market.
Yep.
They're still competing for, for people's to be put in people's living rooms.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you say that to people, they're like, well, it's like, look, man. You might not like it, but it's true. Which is why it's kind of weird that the FTC, which, full disclosure, I actually do agree with their I agree with the thing that, Microsoft shouldn't just be allowed to just buy Activision Blizzard. There needs to be shit in place to prevent them from doing shady stuff, because there's a lot of unanswered questions that need to be taken care of before we're just like, yeah, we're just gonna buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said this before. Bobby Kotick and the executive board of Activision Blizzard, those people should not be allowed to just go and do whatever the fuck they want to do. Because there's some really messed up shit that happened, and no one's talking about it. They're like, oh, they just swept that under the rug. It's like, I have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. You have any thoughts before we move on to the last topic, which is unpopular opinion, aka hot topic. I mean, hot take.
Yeah, that like somebody. I'm surprised somebody wasn't there when they wrote that and say, "Are you sure you wanna? Are you sure you want to go with that? Like, are you sure you want to go with that argument?
Yeah,
like,
it's not a good legal argument.
No.
Now, to be fair, like I said, I am not a lawyer. I've taken a few pre-law classes when I was younger, in political science, but I am not a lawyer. But even I can tell that argument doesn't hold a lot of water legally. It kind of falls apart under scrutiny.
Yeah.
Like I was watching this legal thing where this lady claimed that she shot this lady out of self-defense. Now the problem with the legal argument of that is she left the scene where she had gotten into an argument with this girl and some other people earlier, and then came back with a gun. So how can it be self-defense if you come back with a lethal weapon? Now if someone's jumping on you and you pull out a gun, and there's a group of people attacking you physically and you pull out a gun and you shoot someone, that's self-defense. But if you remove yourself from the dangerous situation and then come back with a weapon, it's not really self-defense.
No.
I mean, I'm not a listen.
I just want to murder.
I'm not a look. You murdered somebody. There's no self-defense there, because you had removed yourself from the situation where you would have been in some form of danger, physical danger, and then you came back just to shoot somebody. So that's where I'm kind of like, this doesn't make sense. But and I'm saying this as someone who actually does, like I said, I don't think Microsoft should be allowed to just buy Activision Blizzard. I do think there needs to be some accountability there, but on the other hand, I think this legal argument is tenuous at best.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to hold up. I think they kind of hurt their case a little bit with this argument, because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But hey,
yeah, didn't help them.
They didn't help themselves. But what do I know? I'm just some internet guy, talks about video games. I'm not a lawyer. Anyway, you have anything to say before we move on to unpopular opinion?
No.
All right. Okay, I guess we got to get to unpopular opinion. So, you want to go first, or shall I?
Yeah, you go first. I'm thinking.
All right. this is an unpopular opinion. I didn't get to say yesterday. I mean, last week because took the week off. It's about Christmas. Um, I worked Christmas, so I didn't really get to celebrate Christmas like I normally would because I worked Christmas because my employees needed to have Christmas off.
Yeah.
So here's what I gotta say. It's not really about Christmas, it's about New Year's. For you people who got so fucking drunk on New Year's that you were by the side of the road as I was driving into work puking, uh, I don't see the allure of drinking that much. It's kind of fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's it. Just want to say that. That was dumb. I was unimpressed. Why would anyone drink that much? It was
Yeah.
stupid. Um, like I can understand drinking a little bit here, a little bit there, but I mean, just on the side of the road, just puking, just ugh, everything coming up, like puking so much that it made me kind of sick to my stomach, and I don't normally get sick to my stomach unless it's food poisoning. Like the only time I've ever really puked is when I had food poisoning. I don't like, even if I get queasy, I don't puke. So I've never seen this. That's it. That's all I had to say. You got anything?
Nah.
All right. That's the end of the podcast. Anything you want to pimp out, sir, before we wrap things up?
Project Console. Tuesdays, 6:30. Try to go an hour to an hour and a half long each time. Uh, so see you there. Hopefully,
All right.
be there or be nowhere.
Be there, be square, sucker. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. Thank you for listening to me. If you listened to it live, if you didn't, thank you for watching it on the the recording. If you would like to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com. It's in the description. You can also reach me via the channel's Discord, BS Busters. I'm in the process of getting a new computer together because my current computer is getting a little long in the tooth, even though it's got some great shit in it. So I'm in the process of building a computer right now that's going to be purely for streaming. I had to go back to the drawing board because the parts that I had didn't really work well together. So I had to return a lot of shit and do some other shit. So that's going to be fun. Anyway, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe.